Tiki and Tierney show here on the Fan. What's going on, everybody? The door is open. You hear that little creak?
Hey, DT,
little creaky?
The Mets no longer have to worry or question whether or not Shohei Ohtani is going to leave the Los Angeles Angels. It's been 6 seasons. Came in 2018. They have not made the playoffs. I showed you that book. You never read the book, the Shohei Ohtani book. And in that book, he says he wants to come to the major leagues. He wants to win the MVP, wants to win the Cy Young, and also wants to win a championship. And he had a specific timeline that he wanted to do it. Now, it's all out of whack because the best laid plans, as we all know. But Shohei Ohtani, who is the best player in baseball right now, he's going to win the MVP this year, was asked. Now, this may have been lost in translation. I'll give you that. But he was asked about the losing in Los Angeles. All the stars they have out there, they can't win in Los Angeles. He said, basically, and I paraphrase, yeah, I'm getting tired of losing. He's starting to feel stronger. It gets stronger and stronger every year, the losing. Losing sucks. I want to win. Now, that tells the Angels, that tells the Dodgers, it tells the Mets, it tells everybody, you had better find a way to put a winner around Shohei Ohtani or he's out. He's going someplace else. And again, this may be lost in translation, but to me, it sounds like Shohei Ohtani is coming to the reality that he's never going to win in Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. Therefore, Billy Epler, who knows him well because he brought him here, the New York Mets, who have all the money in the world to try to fix whatever ails them, have license to pounce on Shohei Ohtani right after this All-Star break. That's what I got from yesterday. Because Shohei Ohtani didn't want to come to the East Coast. He wanted to be in a small market close to Japan on the West Coast. So he did all of those things. And what has happened in the last 6 years? He has become an absolute superstar, iconic in so many different ways. He knows, even if he's humble enough not to say it, that he is that dude. Right? That guy. Where Aaron Judge was last year, that's where Shohei Ohtani is this year. He holds every chip. We talked about leverage with Saquon yesterday. He has none. Ohtani has every bit of leverage of any player in Major League Baseball, maybe over the last decade, including except for Judge. Shohei Ohtani is not going to be an Angel, and if the Mets don't pounce right now, I'm not talking about wait till the offseason.
So you want to trade for him?
I'm saying pounce right now and get this star that can change the fortunes of your franchise, Stevie Cohen.
Okay. A-Rod said something very similar last night. And, Alex, he's just corny. Even when he says something good, he's right. He's just a cornball. I don't know what it is about A-Rod. He's just...
I know
what I mean? Like everything that he said was so sensible, but just the way he packages it. I do, because he loves baseball. He knows baseball.
But then you're like, come on, man.
Yeah, he just never feels like he's himself. Just let your hair down. Would you talk like a human being? Anyway, so what A-Rod said last night, if you missed it on the home run derby coverage with Jeets and Big Papi and Kevin Burkhardt, and I agree with this, that the Angels, what they should do is not only trade Ohtani, but trade Mike Trout. And then, try to just get this thing in the right direction, bring in Theo Epstein. By being so bad for a couple of years, you'll get a bunch of top picks, you'll get a ton of prospects back, and when you deal both of these players, and theoretically should set the Angels up to be really good for a long time. Now, that's the Angel stuff. We don't care about the Angels only because it pertains to Ohtani. That's all we care about with that.
Unless they send Mike Trout home to Philadelphia.
That's true.
That would be death.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he is more from down there than up here. Okay, so it's not a foreign thought. I agree with it. I do think that the longer he's here, he's Americanized in the sense that he realizes reputations aren't just judged on stats. And it's not just basketball. I'm not saying he sits there and watches First Take or listens to the 2-hour show, but he understands that the American athlete, or at least the athlete who now plays in America, is judged on winning.
Yeah.
You got to have the stats, and you got to win to be an all-timer. So he knows he's going to have to go there. He's going to have to leave there. My question is, or my concern is, there's no way I'm granting Billy Epler the freedom to make that trade.
But I think Billy Epler is the reason that you can make that trade, because he understands what makes Shohei Ohtani and his team, because it's not going to be an independent decision by Shohei Ohtani, I don't think. Ultimately, he makes a decision, but he's going to consult with whoever. But I think Billy Epler has unique insight on how Shohei Ohtani ticks, how his team ticks, and why, or at least he can make the argument why he should come to New York. And it's two reasons as I look at it. If I'm Billy Epler and I'm talking to Shohei Ohtani's people about why he should come to New York, it's you could craft it any way. In the winning or losing or whatever it is, 101 last year and now they're trending to not even making the postseason this year. It could go either way. If you turn it around and you're winning, you say, come be a part of a winner. If you're losing, like the Mets are currently, sitting 5 games below 500, you say, we need you to save us. Come be our hero. I think there's so many narratives that help the Mets go get Shohei Ohtani. And when I hear him talking about not wanting to be on a losing team, and by the way, he's gotten the perfect example from one of the greatest players of our generation in Mike Trout, who's been to the postseason one time.
Played 3 games, right?
3 games. 3. So he knows it's done in Los Angeles.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
It's done in Los Angeles.
Well, it's done with the Angels in Los Angeles.
Yeah, sure.
It's done with the Angels.
That's true. The Dodgers have all that cap space. But you know what I mean? But I think that this gives the Mets license to go charging in as fast as you can.
Okay, I agree with that. But let me just unpack this in this regard. I don't trust Billy Epler to make a smart trade.
Why not?
Because I don't think he's very good at his job.
Yeah, but does it? Okay.
I do think that he would be a magnet to lure him here during free agency. I don't trust him constructing a package of Lord knows what it's going to take to get him here, unless you just say you don't care.
Yeah.
You give up whatever it takes to get him here.
So here's
which some people might say.
Here's the X factor.
Yeah.
Kodai Senga.
Yeah, I think there's a part of that.
Kodai Senga, who is now an all-star
yeah.
and representing the Mets, and he got asked about this yesterday because obviously it's media day and you talk to whoever, and they ask him obviously about Shohei Ohtani. He said, yeah, we talked a little bit. And then he joked. He's like, yeah, I'm going to go throw this Met hat on him. I'm going to go put this Met hat on him right now, which, some of the most important things are said in jest. He is definitely lobbying Shohei Ohtani, or at least he's getting asked by Shohei Ohtani, well, what's it like to play in New York? How do you find New York or the tri-state area?
How do you find New York?
Not find. Like, how do you find it? Like, how do you
have your private pilot take you there?
How do you feel about New York is what I mean.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he actually lives in New York City, but whatever. The tri-state area has been good to Kodai Senga. It really has.
Yeah, and I mean, so far it's been good.
I mean, both as fans embracing him, but also the success that he's found, and I guess the patience, because there were some rough times early in Kodai Senga's tenure here, but we all know why, because it's a different baseball, it's a different league. You're pitching outdoors, the conditions suck in the spring, they change in the summer. It becomes from 65 to 95 in 2 weeks. So eventually Kodai Senga has found himself, and whether we want to accept it or believe it or not, he's kind of the ace of the Mets right now. He, in his mind, has a great feel about New York. And so if this interaction with Shohei Ohtani at the All-Star Weekend happens now, I think it lines up perfectly for Kodai Senga to be the X factor to talk Shohei Ohtani into the good graces of New York.
Listen, this was always going to be here. It was always going to be in the background. Now, if the Mets were on pace to win 101 wins like they did a year, or, roughly, maybe not 101, but, mid-90s, high 90s. Mm-hmm. It would still be a big story, but it wouldn't be quite paramount to their, because they are so... Yeah, it's accelerated this. The only thing I want to challenge you on here, and Senga aside, because that is important, and I'm not trying to marginalize that relationship very well might be the thing that cements it. But if Shohei Ohtani is driven by winning, why would he go to the Mets?
Because the Mets last year were a great team. They were a fantastic team.
Hear me out, though. Okay. Think about this, though, because we have to push this forward. If they're going to trade for him, they've got to make this decision within the next couple of weeks, since the trade deadline's obviously approaching. Now, if the Mets come out and they lose 3 out of 4,
but I don't think
I'm just saying, if they do, because I think this is important. And I'm not saying there's no counter, and I want to hear it, but I think this is really important. If they lose 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 7, whatever it is.
If Hoff doesn't shave his head, they might.
Well, that's true. And we'll get to Hoff a little bit later here. Then the Mets are going to be faced with a very real decision of whether it's Verlander, Scherzer, whether it's both, whether it's whomever. They might have to become sellers. If they become sellers, why would Ohtani want to come here?
Hold on. I'm going to throw something that you said to me yesterday right back at you.
Am I not going to like this?
No, you will like
throw
this.
Back in my face?
This will This will make you feel good about your GM abilities.
Yes. Okay.
Yesterday, you talked about.
I should be the GM of the Yankees, by the way. I really should be.
You should.
I should.
I thought you was basketball, though.
Well, the Knicks are in good hands now. That was a while ago, what I say.
I gave you 2 options yesterday. What did you do? Buy, sell.
Oh, yeah.
You said, oh, no. Actually, there's a third option, Tiki.
Yes.
It's buy, sell, or sell to get better.
Yes, that's true. I did say
your words. Sell to
exactly
get better.
What I said. Jeez.
And so if the Mets find themselves losing 4 out of their first 6 or 8 out of their first, I don't know.
I'm just throwing,
12,
it's possible.
Whatever it may be. They're not making the postseason, and we know it. It just gets too insurmountable.
They're a bad week away from not making the playoffs.
That's right.
Let's just keep it real. They're a bad week away from being done. I don't think they're going anywhere.
Last week I said they'd had 2.5 weeks. That's down to a week and a half.
Yeah,
they have a week
ticking.
and a half, and half of this week you're not even doing anything. So they have a week once they start playing to get themselves back into wild card contention. But if they don't, and they start to fade, and you feel it, and the whatever is gone, the oomph is gone, and they become sellers to get better. That is selling away some of these veterans, the Vogelbacks, the Kana, even Tommy Pham. So hopefully it's not something really bad, so he can go contribute somewhere else.
One of the aces who are older. Yep.
Right, you sell those guys so that you can get the young players up to get experience. And so even though it's not going to make a difference on this season, it will make you better going forward. Doesn't that become attractive?
That's a really good volley back. I respect that.
Especially because Shohei Ohtani now replaces the ace. Right, whichever one you move, he replaces the ace. So, I think there are many ways to talk about this, and there's many ways to make this happen for the New York Mets. But the only thing that I see is Shohei Ohtani talking about losing sucks. The Angels are never going to be a winner. I don't know why. Just bad luck or just crappy management of their team. They are not going to be winners as they're currently constructed. Therefore, Shohei Ohtani has no chance of being there long term. The Mets need to pounce now because they have the opportunity and they have the connection, whether you like this guy or not, and Billy Epler, they can make it happen.
All right. 877-337-6666 is our number. Tiki and Tierney on the Fan. All right, fire up the Ohtani train. We're inside of our Town Fair Tire studio. Our friends at Town Fair remind you that you always get the guaranteed lowest price on name brand tires from Connecticut to Maine. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody. Now, I'm going to volley back to you what you just volleyed back to me from yesterday because that is a good pull.
Well, you got Wimbledon on your mind, huh?
I can't stand tennis. Actually, I enjoy playing tennis. I can't watch tennis. I just can't waste my time watching tennis. The problem is I don't know who the hell is playing.
I
don't know anybody.
I can't even say these names from Poland and Ukraine. All respect to them.
Absolutely. It's not relatable.
Girls
it's just so boring.
She's number one. Right? Swiatek?
I have no idea.
Swiatek?
I don't know.
I just don't follow it like I used to.
Yeah,
but you are volleying back. I'm
going to volley back here. I did present a third option yesterday about selling off to improve, and what you just said is maybe that's appealing to Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
But what if you sell to improve, and the young kids put Alvarez in a different category because he's already proved he's really good? What if they don't show anything? What if Mauricio comes up and hits 191?
Okay, so. Is that going
to be appealing to Ohtani?
Maybe not, but
definitely not.
But isn't that the risk you have to take? Like, when you've made a humongous bet, and the Mets made a humongous bet with all of their offseason moves over the last 2 seasons, whether it was Vogelback, who they brought in, and the rough whole thing with the failure of that, and then Scherzer and Verlander,
even Chris Bassett, who wasn't young. Yeah,
right?
I got you.
They've made some big bets. Maybe they need to start making smaller bets and match those smaller bets with an enormous bet, right? The smaller bets are the kids, right? Let's hope that these guys are as good as we thought they were, that we developed them to be. Let's hope that they become that team, and then we throw this massive bet on top of it, and it balances it out, as opposed to having all these like mid-high level bets that aren't working out.
I like that change in philosophy. So I just don't know if he will.
And by the way,
I like it.
We've talked about this since the very beginning of the season. Oh, why are the Mets doing? Why are they go getting a 40-year-old pitcher? Why are they go getting a 43 39-year-old pitcher. Why are they going? You get Bassett, who was always
mid-30s,
top
whatever
5 of the Cy Young, but never won one, and he's kind of mid-30s. He's kind of on the downside. Why are you doing those things?
Because you have no arms in the organization that are worthwhile.
But it's also this philosophy, right? This philosophy was, let's go get veteran pitchers and then hope that they hold up, and then we'll get to Edwin Diaz. Right? They made a bad bet, and it's not paying off the way that they thought it was going to. It's time to change. It's time to change that philosophy, and the way you change that philosophy with a big stroke is a big stroke of the pen, getting Shohei Ohtani here and sign him to a long-term extension. I mean, seriously,
I hear you.
And it's wide open. When I hear Shohei Ohtani, and again, I preface this by saying this could have been lost in translation because it literally is going through a translator.
Yep.
He says, "I hate losing. Losing sucks."
Yeah, no,
it's starting to weigh on me.
They got to trade him.
I want to win.
They have to trade him. They know this. They must. Now, I don't know that they have to trade Mike Trout, like A-Rod said. They have to trade Ohtani.
Yes.
He's not re-signing.
Because
it's criminal.
Because they can get a haul.
Oh, my goodness. Biggest haul in the history of baseball.
No, you're right.
I mean, the biggest haul.
Dude, you hear Steve Cohen, I don't know who he said this to, but I read this the other day, talking about how on the plane, somebody he heard say, that Ohtani deal could be $1 billion. $1 billion.
Wait, Steve Cohen was on just a normal plane, not on his plane?
On their plane.
Oh, okay.
On the team plane. Somebody on the plane. Basically, the story was somebody on the plane said Ohtani's number could reach $1 billion. $1 billion.
Yeah, I don't see him in row 26C.
Right. How many owners are doing
scrunched in there?
How many owners are doing that?
None. I know the other owner in town, certainly not. And listen, this is about the Mets, but think about this. We're talking about the most transcendent player in any sport in our lifetime.
100%.
I mean, because he does everything.
Maybe, I was going to say maybe.
Maybe all time. I mean, I just want to kind of keep it somewhat.
I mean, could you throw Dion?
The last 50, 60 years.
Dion was transcendent like that.
Yeah, but Dion didn't bring the dollars, the global explosion and expansion and additional revenue streams.
Worldwide curiosity.
Well said. Boom. It's Ohtani. And the fact that he's just entering his prime, and the Yankees won't even be involved is disgusting.
That's
just let that. This is about the Mets, but just let that sink in for a second.
Interesting.
Wow. 877-337-6666. I believe that Dove just shouted in my ear Town Fair, and I believe that I already read Town Fair.
You did already read.
Way to pay attention to the show, Dove. Thank you, sir. Jeez. Oh, my good God. Take a bow, Kramer. There he is. Big Dove. He's actually clapping for himself. You got to love him. I mean, Dove, I say this with a smile. But a legitimate question. The show is 19 minutes old, okay? How did you not hear me read that? What else are you doing?
I have bad news for you.
What's that?
I have bad news for you.
What?
It wasn't just me who didn't hear it.
Well, who didn't hear it? Hoffman?
Brooke?
I mean, Brooke is training and Hoffman's juggling. I mean, I can understand maybe Pete and Brooke letting that one slip through the crack, but you don't get a free pass. All right, Tiki and Tierney on the fan. Hey, it's today, it's tomorrow, and then just 2 more shows, and we're done. Final week here, Tiki and Tierney. So make sure you hammer the phones, get it going. The Ohtani stuff, you heard what we said. The avenue for the Mets to pounce is there. I guess my pushback would be, outside of the New York market and the money, why would he view the Mets as attractive if he wants to win?